here we got kind of an interesting setup here. This would be a style tent I used to sell, the Shackleton style. But as you can see here, the stove is in this corner here, okay? Then as you look, it's a stove he made himself. Then he runs the pipe up and out, thus keeping all this stovepipe inside his tent and getting all that heat off of that, off the stove, off the exhaust gas before it leaves outside. So by the time it gets out there, you know, he's extracted as much heat as he possibly can from the stove as humanly possible. So it burns real efficient, does a really good job for him. And he's been using this setup for quite a few years now. And he actually made this stove by himself. As you can see here, just basic sheet metal, you know, a little creativity, a little gumption, no problem, he's got a stove. You don't have to spend a lot of money to go have a good time. Yeah. Now you can see how this fellow's got his setup here. What he's done, he's going out at an angle, but what he's done in the end, he's put that elbow right on the end. By putting that elbow straight up, if your prevailing wind was coming from that direction, he wouldn't have to worry about any blowback back in his tent. So he's a real cunning fellow, and he could always turn it in the opposite direction, and he'd have no problem with any draw on his stove. Now here's a really smart fellow here. He's got this position where the stovepipe came, but he was smart. He covered that up. And then he put his another secondary stovepipe hole right up here. That way there, he can keep his stove in the middle of his tent, and he can get all that heat off of the stovepipe before it's going to the outside. He doesn't have draw problems, plus it lets a better distribution inside his tent of the heat. And I think he may be right here, and he could give us a little talking about that. How you doing?
Good.
So, hey buddy.
Good to see you.
I was just explaining to him there about how you've got your, you put that alternative position for your stovepipe, and how much difference do you feel that made in warming your tent?
It's really nice when you have a group of people. They can all sit around the stove in there, and so it adds a kind of a luxury capability at night to have that center position.
Right.
And it does keep the whole tent a little warmer because it isn't, way to one side.
Right.
So it's kind of a nice situation. And when you want more room and you don't care, like it's so nice today,
right,
you wouldn't need the stove in the center. You can put it in the corner.
Right.
So it's nice to have both positions.
Right. Well, it gives you those options. And the other thing is, like, if you get a lot of people, you need more people who to be able to sleep across the back. You can put the stove up in the front.
Yes.
You don't have as many. You can put like a cot on either side. And then you got, like you said, you're getting that nice natural heat distribution where the heat's rising, descending, and so now this corner is as warm as that far corner, which it's hard to do when you have your stove in just one corner. So, good. It's always good to have options.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you.